What's up, guys? My name is Victor, and today I'm going to talk about how you can purge emotional traumas and baggage and limitations that you're harboring that you may or may not be aware of. And the reason to do this is because whether you're conscious of it or not, these emotional wounds, you could say, are influencing your decisions, and therefore your life is sort of reflected from this dysfunctional state. And there is a pretty practical way that you can, on your own time, in a relatively short period of time, choose to kind of give yourself a cathartic experience of purging these emotions out of your body. And it's in your best interest to do it. I in my own experience anyway, it speeds up the enlightenment process. It speeds up the process of inner unfoldment, where if you're on a path of becoming the strongest version of yourself and the best, most badass, smartest, wisest, most loving aspect of yourself, these emotions have got to go. So what I've chosen to do, and I learned this from doing a past life regression. I had a past life regression about, a few months ago, and it was really sweet, actually. It was by a woman who was trained under Dolores Cannon, and Dolores Cannon is just about the most famous hypnotherapist ever. She's deceased now, but she has done this to thousands of people, and she has over a dozen books documenting all these cases. And she has this particular method of bringing you into a sort of altered state of consciousness where the practitioner or the therapist can kind of help you navigate your inner worlds, and bring to light a lot of really core important issues so you can resolve them in that one session. And having gone through this session, I realized that you don't really need a therapist. It's actually very easy. It's so easy that people miss it. I missed it. And I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. I'll tell you what I learned, and I'll tell you that, again, I had a profound experience with this past life regression. I was able to go back 6 lives and uncover just earth-shattering epiphanies about myself. A lot of my phobias and anxieties and issues and life situations make perfect sense now, and I'm able to kind of let all that go in that one session. And I started to do this kind of on my own as new things popped up, or I realized there were new things I wanted to address. I started to kind of put myself into this same trance and let it all go on my own, and it worked just as well. So it's very simple. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it after this sip of water. So you just basically want to relax yourself. You don't even have to be that relaxed, but just if you're new to it, it'll probably help you believe it more so if you can somehow relax yourself. Just lay down or sit upright just like me. Breathe deeply, close your eyes. And I want you to imagine yourself in a very safe, enjoyable place. When I say imagine yourself, that's kind of the idea. You got to let your imagination just take hold. If I was to say picture a red stocking, right there in your mind, I bet you conjured up some sort of maybe a faint image of a red stocking. And that's all imagining is. Okay, that's all I want you to do here. So imagine you're in a safe place, whatever that means for you. For me, I chose to imagine myself with my family on the shores on a beautiful beach, and the sun was setting, and it was almost dark out actually. And I kind of tried to imagine the waves, and you want to get into as much detail as possible. And I just imagine us all in this blanket, feeling this state of just peace and comfort and bliss. So do that for yourself. I'm just going to explain it real quick. This is not a guided meditation, and then you'll just go off and do this, okay? So you take a few minutes, relax yourself, imagine you're in a very nice and quiet place, and then I want you to imagine yourself kind of floating up into the sky. You're rising up, you're leaving your family, your little, or whatever, whoever you're with, whatever you had created, you're leaving it, and you're going up into the clouds very calmly and comfortably. And then you just look around, and you just decide to pick a cloud and lay on the cloud. Just lay on the cloud. Now you can imagine a cloud must be pretty damn fluffy and relaxing and freeing. You're just kind of floating in the breeze. You're on this cloud. You're looking up. And now imagine this cloud starts to drift. And you just tell yourself, take me to a time or a place that is relevant to my life so I may uncover something that would be of value for me to see. You could word that however you want, but that's kind of what I would do. And you just trust it to take you to a time and a place. And the therapist talked like this, really like in a hypnotic way, a time or a place. You're very safe, you're watched over, and just feel yourself drifting. Feel you're looking up, you're on this cloud laying down, and the sky is moving because you're moving too. And then once you feel ready, just allow yourself to descend down into whatever time and whatever place is relevant for you in this particular moment in time of your life. You're coming down and down and down and down. And then I just want you to look around. What do you notice? It might not be much. In the beginning, it's almost like you can't do anything, but usually there's something you can sense, okay? So the first thing I sensed was that I noticed the ground was like dirt. And this lady asked me, what kind of shoes are you wearing? And I noticed I had like these, it weren't like normal shoes. It was like from a long time ago. It was almost like cloths, whatever, wrapped around my feet, like an old shirt, like wrapped around like some kind of makeshift fucking shitty ass shoe I had to wear around. And I felt myself like a caveman type dude. I had like a satchel and like a staff, like a stake, and that's what I said. And what you're gonna do right here, this is important. You're gonna wonder if this is all bullshit. If you're just thinking about this stuff, you just have to like let it play out. Okay? It really helped me to talk to her and tell her, I'm wearing these shoes, I have this staff, I got this satchel on, I'm looking around, oh, there's some wood. You just gotta kind of let it unfold. And once you get into it, it starts to become more and more and more clear. And it's pretty easy, okay? And it's not even so important the imagery that you're seeing. What you're gonna find, how you're gonna know you're doing this correctly, is when you stumble upon intense emotions. Like for me, what it was, and I might get choked, I'm starting to feel it just thinking about this because I kind of went into this state, but I started to feel a sense of dread, a sense of impending doom, a sense of fear. It was very intense, almost like I could feel it now, it's very fucked up, very, very obvious. And you got to go in the direction of that fear. So for me, it was this house. I noticed that there was this like house. And again, it wasn't like I saw a house like I was actually there. It was like in my imagination, there was this house. And I played along. And I walked up to this house and I opened the door. And it was like a really nice little house. There was a fireplace. It was really relaxing. And there was nothing too inconspicuous about this house. And I still had this fear energy. It was the first time I experienced this. And I was like, oh my God, this is getting kind of very real feeling. And I might get choked up because what happened was pretty fucked up. And then I ended up deciding to kind of go walk off to the road. And I did that. It's dark. I remember the particular street light was very dim and kind of flickering. And I was walking up this road and I knew what I was walking upon. I was walking upon a car accident where the car had caught fire and my family had actually died in it. I lost my entire family in this life. You might stumble into these kind of things, and it was just so sad when I walked up onto my family. I saw they were like had burned alive in this charred up car, and I wondered like why would I have experienced this? But then it started to make sense to me. I was walking around with this sense of impending doom with my family, like something bad's gonna happen, with this like contractive fear. Like we'd be going on walks, and I would be like on the lookout, because this thing was the feeling of walking up and seeing something so dramatic and tragic with my family was so shocking to me that I kept that with me, through many lifetimes, and I still have it. I had it in this present lifetime, and I walked around with this anxiety and this fear of impending doom. But going through this process allowed me to see that, and once it was revealed to me that this was there was no use of carrying this around. It stemmed from this particular incident, and I no longer need to carry it. And once I was able to go through the process of kind of understanding that, I felt a tremendous tangible weight lifted off my body. It was like this energy just like dissipated, and I felt like, I felt amazing. And ever since that little session, I can go on these walks, that feeling is gone. Now, when I rehashed it in this detail, it makes me sad because it's a tragic thing that I believe I did experience. But even if this is just a conjuring of my imagination and that never actually happened, regardless, the emotional release and then the after effects of me being alleviated from this anxiety was very potent and very real and very worth my time. And I was able to do this with about 5 or 6 past lives, just as powerful. And I remember when I left this place, I felt like I was just glowing. I felt just amazing. I felt like 10 pounds just lifted off my chest. But again, we have a lot of issues. There's many layers, and going through this process on my own, I've been able to repeat the same thing many times since that time. I don't need to pay the $300 or whatever for this therapist. I do it on my own. In fact, like a few months ago or a couple months ago, I sat at my kitchen table drinking a cup of coffee. My son was in here like watching TV, and I just sat at the table kind of like this, with my eyes closed, and I went through 3 lives. I went back to 3 lives and had these 3 like epiphany after epiphany after epiphany, just sitting there like that. So it's not hard. If I can give you any tips, don't doubt what you're seeing. Don't doubt what you're sensing. Just the first thing that pops in, just go with it, and just keep adding to it. Okay. You'll get better at this. And again, the way you know you're on the right track is when you discover the fear energy. That's what it used you every time. It was for me some kind of trapped fear. Or sadness, and I just wanted to share that with you guys because it's a very helpful thing. It's been very life-changing to do this, whether you believe in past lives or not. I don't even know if I do. I don't really give a shit. All I know is this little technique I can do in my head at will has changed my life for the better, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe, and maybe share it if you have anybody that you think might benefit from this, because I'd love this message to get out there, because I think this is something we should all be taught how to do. We all have pain we carry around, and this pain and these emotions influence our lives. So it would be wise to have a system to get rid of them, obviously. So I would like my message to spread and to help people. And if you want to help me do that, I would really appreciate it. So thank you. And I will talk to you guys in another video. Peace. My name is Victor again. Have a great day. God bless.